Welcome. I am the teacher. This is part two of my discussion about the number one. Before you, I'm showing the Fibonacci sequence. Just for me to do a quick recap. The number 4 represents balance. In two, the number 2 and the number 4 is linked together because it's about us getting the balance for full understanding into the understanding of the one, male and female, dealing with the duality and having the balance of understanding so they can bring on the world or the kingdom, for lack of a better words, of the Son of Man. So, as I mentioned previously, 0 times 0 equals 0, 0 plus 0 equals 0. And 2 is the only number that if you add and multiply, it gets the same result. So 2 times 2 equals 4, 2 plus 2 equals 4. So the significance of that is that the result is 4, and 4 represents balance. They are 4 90-degree angles and the 360-degree cycles of life. So 0 is a beginning, and the 2 represents the end. In a sense, not the end as, the end of all ends. Once you have balance and you have true understanding, then you can come into the next 6 steps of bringing on the understanding of the Son of Man. So, in the book of Revelations, for instance, it has 22 chapters, which 22, the root of 22 is 4. That is not a coincidence that it has 22 chapters. There is not a coincidence that in the book of Revelations, it speaks on that I am Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning, the ending. I am he that was dead, but behold, I'm alive forevermore. And I got the keys to hell and death. They also, his last words or statement in the book of Revelations is, I come quickly. There's a known problem in the lessons called problem 13. And I will get into problem 13 soon. But when you break down the number 13, it is 4. So on that note is, once you understand, once you start dealing with the duality, where you have 11, 12, and the next number after 12 is 13, meaning that you have an understanding of that balance. The reason why you don't see 13 on an elevator, or some buildings won't have a 13th floor and so forth, because those, societies with understanding, they don't want to claim that balance. So it's not the fact that it's unlucky, as people like to say. It's just the fact that when you are dealing with the duality, how many of us can say that we have that understanding? So that's why the number 13 is shunned upon, in a sense. But what I'm doing here is to show you how the thought process is, and the number 13 really represents balance. So when you have that balance, then, she knows all about you. So when you are dealing with male and female, they both realize in order for us to continue on this cycle, we have to be balanced. It is the balance of the two life forms, male and female. So this is what the understanding is. Now, as long as we are connected with the one, we have everlasting life. So, for instance, if you ask someone to start counting and you started with 1 and every number has 1 in it, when are you going to stop? You can count forever. In the Fibonacci sequence, if you take if you have an understanding of the past and the present result, then you put them together and your future is guaranteed. You know what the next number will be manifest, and it will be new. See, everything new, nothing old comes out of zero. And out of the Fibonacci sequence, it shows that when you know your past and you are aware of your present, your future is guaranteed to be new. It is, the Fibonacci sequence always curates a new number, and it goes on forever. I'm only going to talk about the single digits. I will never try to break down zero, but the Fibonacci number, as you see, starts with 0. There is a reason for it starts with 0, and it is a reason that the first 13 digits of the Fibonacci sequence single root number ends with 9, but the 13th number of the Fibonacci sequence is 144, and that is a reason for that. Now, you know about the 144,000. The 144,000 is in the book of Revelations as well, so study that. Also, on the 13th number from 0 to the 144, you get the 9. And there is a significant reason for that. That's the only time that happens in the Fibonacci sequence. After that, you're dealing with 12th base. Now, you know, as I mentioned before, the universe has a system of 12, but yet our language, 0 to 9, is a 10 base number. So our language is 10 base, even though the universe in which we dwell in is 12. But it's all a part of the continuance. And when you break it down, there are some things you can do things by a 12 base. And the reason that is the number 9, that completion in the Fibonacci sequence shows you how significant the Fibonacci sequence is in the motion of things, in the continuance, because this goes on forever. There is no doubt when you know your past and you are aware of your present, your future is secure and you will make all things new. So in the Fibonacci sequence here that you see, every 12th digit will be the number 9. Every 12th single digit in the Fibonacci sequence is 9. It will come up all the time. The first time is the 13 because 0 is present. You will never see 0 again when you use this method. It never appears again. Now, if you do the 12 base, you will see that. But reason why I don't recommend that, you don't want to deal with 0 in that way because we don't dilute the beginning. You know, the womb is sacred. You don't keep tampering to what you come from. You want the zero to remain pure version. There's a reason why 9 replaces that from going forward. Before you see the number 9, for a lack of breaking everything down to you all today at one time, the number 9 is the reason why every 12th number is 9, because the 9 is the completion. And that's where the 0 will be. The 9 is the completed state. But instead of manifesting the 0, the number 1 is after the 9 when the Fibonacci sequence starts all over again. So when the Fibonacci sequence is going to start again, because every 24 digits of the Fibonacci sequence, it starts new again. So when you get to the 24, it starts again. You will see that sequence begin again. So that's how you can test if you are on the right path, because every 24, you're going to see it. So basically, where you see the second 9, like you see 144, then that next number, my writing is kind of bad, but I think there's 46, 36, but the 2 9s together, and then you see the sequence starting again, that 9, and then you see the 1 1 2 3 5, 5 8, and then you see the 4, and so forth. You see the sequence starting up again. So where the beginning was 0, but as you flow with it, every 24th digit, you're going to see the 1 starting again. The 0 you will never see again in the Fibonacci sequence using the method that I'm showing you here. It's the reason why I'm showing you this, because I want to highlight to you how the universe works spiritually. You understand? How you can get the proper harmony when you stop looking at math as just a bunch of numbers, and the beauty of the numbers are how the numbers, but this is your language. And when you learn how to speak it and learn how to use math in its proper term, then you start creating the notes and the harmony and the frequency to bring that understanding into your way of life. And now you are thinking in the true into the original thought, and you bring in life, true life into manifestation. You are then able to make all things new, and the Fibonacci sequence proves that using 2 results and adding or multiply them, you will give you balance, so you make all things new using this method. So once again, every 12th digit will result in the number 9 in the Fibonacci sequence. Every 24 digits, the process starts over again in the Fibonacci sequence. So 24, we know there are 24 hours in a day. And we also know that the creation or the thought process of man was within 6 days, or what I like to call it, 6 periods. So once again, you are dealing with that number 4, the significance of 4 in the motion of things. So just like 4 right angles makes a 360-degree cycle, because that's the balance of things. The female is 180 degrees. The male is 180 degrees. Together, when they reach out and hold hands together, you have 360 degrees when they come together. That's the duality of it all. So, let's look at this. Let me show you how the cycles are within the Fibonacci sequence. Whenever you want to know if something is truly going to continue and always be, then the keys will appear. Now, what I mean by the keys, I'm talking about the 3, the 6, and the 9. Like, even in the patterns of life, the reason why the 3 patterns of life always show up, because the 3, 6, and 9 is within that, and they're always in their position. They never lose their position. The 3, the 6, and the 9. They're always in that position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5, 9. 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2, 9. Those are the 3 patterns of life. When you add and multiply the number 1, the number 2, the number 4, the number 5, the number 7, and the number 8, those are the patterns that are going to appear. 1 and 8 has the same pattern, 2 and 7 has the same pattern, and 4 and 5 has the same pattern. Those are the cycles of life. There's nothing you can do about that. 3, 6, and 9, well, all they're going to produce is the number 9, because that is the cycle. But 3 is the one that kicks off the cycle. So, starting at 1, 2, 1, 1, and 2, the next number, you see 3. Count the next 3 numbers, 5, 8, and 13. The next number is 21. You break that down, it is 3. 34, 55, 89. The next number is 144, which is 9. 33, 3, 77, 6, 10. The next number is 6. So when you look at the Fibonacci, you look at the numbers, every third number is either 3, 6, or 9. That's the cycles of life. And when the cycles of life appear, you know you're dealing with everlasting life. You're dealing with a true sequence. That's when you know that you have touched upon a sequence that will always be. If it's true, it's going to have a pattern. It is a part of a sequence. It is a part of a pattern. So the reason why, because we are creating harmony. The truth brings harmony. When you have the truth and you realize there's no greater than or less than, the whole structure of your life is going to be about freedom, justice, and equality. You need the freedom to be able to think. You cannot think in boundaries. If you think in a boundary, you're not creating anything. You have to have the freedom of the thought. You know, like people say, oh, I need the freedom of speech. Not if you just speech in words that have already been defined. When you look at an animal, you say, oh, that's a dog, or that's a cat, or that is not a language that gives you freedom. That is not a thought that's giving you freedom. You're only studying things that are already here. That's a past. But you don't create anything new out of that. What new element have you brought into it? What have you done new? Your whole life, this whole system that we live in, we touching things and we disregard things that we shouldn't. We destroy things to make things. We don't know what to do with our waste because we're not bringing any true substance that can take care of itself. Anything that is truly created has a process of how it returns from to that beginning. Meaning I am Alpha and Omega. That's when you know it's true. So that's what the cycles of life gives you. That's what the keys give you for understanding the 3, 6, and 9. So we create things that really only has a purpose for a world that is going to fail because it is not in accords with the 3, 6, and the 9. You're only doing it for your own personal gain, or you're only doing it for what people call a profit, an imaginary gain without a true frequency. All it's going to do is fail. The world we in is going to fail because it has no true balance, no true foundation. So whenever you're dealing with mathematics, you should be thinking of what is the rhythm to it, what the harmony that is bringing. Once again, true thought, the freedom, justice, and equality. The first, I ain't gonna say the first thing, but the main thing is that after the cycle of 3, the very next number is balance. Balance. And then you got 6 steps, 6 more steps to bring in the kingdom of the Son of Man. Balance is necessary. You start understanding the importance of the 360 because that is continuance. Now, when you start making your harmony and you start making the notes and you dealing with the chords, you dealing with the diameters, and you touch at one point of the circle to the next point of the circle, you start getting to the diameters and so forth. This Fibonacci sequence, the more you do it, it's going to lead you to what they call pi. Okay? It gets you closer and closer and closer to pi. And we know what pi is all about. So when you come into the understanding of things, you're always going to be taken into that center thought of the creation, the original thought of creation. And you will realize that man and the one has always been together. And the whole purpose of our understanding is to join the one forever. Everlasting life is what is promised when you have true understanding. You can sit yourself in heaven at once because in the book of Revelation, he says, I come quickly. He didn't say I come thousands. He said I come quickly. The only thing that happens at once, the only thing that is truly quickly is thought. When the one is the reason why your heart beats, your thoughts are of the heart. And when your thoughts are coming from your heart, you're going to be able to produce freedom, justice, and equality. Now, the world that is being manifest to you, do you see freedom? Do you see justice? Do you see equality? That's because and you do not. The people in this world are being limited on their thoughts. They are responding things by law. They might say, well, I might have thought about it, but I didn't do it. We need to clean up our thoughts. We need to understand our thoughts. We need to understand how to properly think. And once your thoughts are proper in this proper term, then the things that you will be manifested will be freedom, justice, and equality. The assignment here is to do the Fibonacci sequence. I recommend a minimum of 4 sequences that you have right here, I only posted 2. If you put up 4 to 6 or more, you will actually see more. There are more patterns, even though you see the sequence, even though I pointed out like every 9 digits, you're going to see the number 9 after the first 13. So it's going to continue to be 9. If you count 9, you're going to always hit the number 9. And then I showed you every third digit is either going to be a 3, a 6, or a 9. I done gave you the keys. I done gave you the universal concept as far as the 12, excuse me. Every 12th digit, you're going to see the number 9. So I gave you the universal concept. I gave you the keys to the cycle. I said every 24, which you can see this online, every 24 sequence, every 24 digit, the root, the pattern starts again. So you will see what that pattern is. Study the pattern. There's more to it than meets the eye. And then you can see how the symbol comes up in nature, and you can see the spirals and so forth with all that the Fibonacci sequence does. You'll be able to read nature better. You'll be able to be in harmony with things better. So please do your studying, do the math, understand how to use your mathematic theology in its proper term. And we have to get into the truth and the power of our language for the main reason, because the Savior is born. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Thank you for listening.